How can they just like shut down society and destroy everything with the COVID hoax? And no one questions that. No one cares. Like everyone's just like, oh well, let's drain the economies of all the world and destroy each of the nations, and let's shut down all their everything. Like, how is it that people don't question this? Like, I know it's not just because I understand what's going on. It's common sense you would question what's going on if you could, but how come people aren't? Like, no one's like, oh, like, it's not like this. I understand, like, I'm out here on the West Coast and there's a bunch of people who don't even speak English. They don't understand what's going on because they don't even understand anything about the nation, right? You couldn't even talk to them about it because they couldn't speak the same language as you. But I mean, the whole world's doing it, right? Like, supposedly the whole world's like shut down and destroying their economies. And how does that stuff happen? Like, I mean, we know, like, if you follow this channel, if you follow me, you know, like, the usual suspects. You know who's in control of Earth and all that. But how do they do that? How do they do that to the humans? And half of you are those people, so it's like, I'm not expecting you to ever say anything except for cause problems on my channel. But, you know, how is it you so-called Israelis do all this stuff? How do you just like say something and magically a billion people do it? Like some of you guys are trying to blame me for it. You're like, oh, you're God. We're listening to you. You're like, I remember when I came to the West Coast, you guys were like we can only make so many fires happen on the West Coast. Like you told me that like 3,000 miles away from my home, and it's like, how do you even know? I was like praying for fire to fucking devour this nation, right? And first, second of all, the fires had already started before I started praying to increase them. Granted, the sun did increase, so someone's in control of the sun. Someone's been using the sun to communicate with me. And of course, the sun shows me a six-sided star, a Star of David. So I think the sun's just, when I'm asking the sun who controls stuff, like the sun's just showing me who controls it, right? Because I've also asked for it to fucking torch this planet, and it hasn't done that yet. Although we did get the blizzard, right? I did kind of ask for that stuff. And then I asked for it to end, and it ended everywhere except for Texas. But other than that, like, like, how come when I came up here, they told me that they can only start so many fires and stuff for me, and it's like, well, you're not God, you're not all that powerful if you can't just start a fire that fucking covers the whole fucking earth. Like you're not the one I'm trying to communicate with, but why are you trying to blame me for the fires? Why are you trying to fucking say I did it? Like, if the fires I asked for came to, this video wouldn't be made right now. You understand? And I would be at no loss. I'd be out there hanging with the fucking cougars and fucking bears on the fucking mountain trail. And I wouldn't be making a stupid video because I wouldn't be remembering any of this stupid shit because all this stupid shit would be fucking up in smoke, literally. Fucking. So how does that work? How does that hive mind work? Like, how is it that people 3,000 miles away know what I do fucking 3,000 miles away? Who don't know me, fucking. And how many are in on it? You guys are just like, you guys just working, you humans just working with these other people to make them like your scapegoat? You're making the Jewish people your scapegoat? Fucking, that way you can continue on, just like they made like everyone else in the world a scapegoat, just like they supposedly invented the scapegoat term in their Bible. And, Hitler was scapegoated and all this stuff, so that way that the empire that they worked with could like conquer the Middle East. Like, yeah, I see all that stuff. But I mean, how does that work? How does all that work? And then how does it work too that I drive into cities and stuff appears before my eyes? Is this like simply because like I'm inventing the entire world around me and I've invented all you guys as like my enemy who think there's some show you operate you on around me, and in your memory banks you really think that stuff's happening? You really think when you're out of my view you go to work 8 hours a day and this and stuff because we've put this in your memory banks? And which one? Like I've kind of boiled it down to two, right? Because everything in the world is everything I've asked to happen. At least that I can remember to some extent, right? And then I've asked for some other things to happen. Like people think there's a show going on and they're monitoring me and they know me and this and that. And it's like, well, technically I asked for that to happen. That doesn't mean it's real. That doesn't mean that's the underlying base to the reality. Because I've asked for that to happen. Whether I asked for it to happen after they told me it. I mean, they use South Park, to tell me in their little Hasidic programming there. Um, there's a show going on around me and all this, and it's like, well, I mean, technically, like I invented, like it's hard for me to be anything other than the only sentient being on Earth if I can drive into a city and stuff start popping up on that city around me. And they have these excuses, oh, they control technology and they can fabricate events I go to and all this, but it's like it's simply like you show up, like when I go places, you show up when I decide to think about you. And it's like kind of weird like that, right? And it's I've asked for people to help me. So of course these people are explaining to. Of course my enemies are explaining to me what's going on in this world because I've asked for my enemies to begin explaining to me. You see, that's like one of the greatest tricks I could ever think of is to make your enemies work for you. Just be like, hey, go build my bridge for me. And they're like, okay. It's like magic. They're building a bridge and they think they're your enemy. And I was like, oh, go forth, enemy, dude. Like, go do your own thing, man. I ain't got time for you either. Fucking, I wonder which one it is, though, right? Fucking, pretty interesting how this all works. So that, they've been in my life since I was like a child, right? And they've been in all your lives, too. Every person I see these days has one of them beside you. Either the person you've married, bred with, or one of your parents, or more of one of them. And, wait, did I invent that, right? Because I kind of didn't see all that until I came out here. Maybe I just got really smart really fast. I mean, even smarter really fast. But I kind of didn't see that before. It wasn't that easy. Maybe they just look different on the East Coast, right? And they're bred more in with the. I guess supposedly the Irish are part of them. They're the most hated. The Irish are the most hated tribe of Israel. Everyone hates the Irish supposedly, and they're banned from ever doing anything in the world again because of probably how they act. I mean, look at how some of these motherfuckers act towards me. Of course, like I could see that totally. Look at how I act. I'll fucking burn you in a fucking second if you fucking give me a power switch. It'll be fucking over. But I mean, but that is deserved. So there's a difference between like my usual bad attitude and my vengeance, which is fucking fully game. Even that, like once we question this world and what's going on in it, we can question my usual bad attitude. And my usual bad attitude, if it's anything at all like I think this world's going at, my usual bad attitude is just a permanent answer to this society. You know, or going outside and crossing fucking cinder blocks with cars driving by on the overpass as some children used to do when we were kids. That's an answer to this society if it's really as sick as fucking it seems. And it's like as sick as it seems, but I think it's much worse, deeper, right? You know, throwing a rock through every one of your neighbor's windows isn't like a evil, dark thing if you're living in some sort of fucking nightmare world, right? And you are the savior of the nightmare world if you do shit like that. If people are planted in your life and you fucking stab them and shit because they acted like fake little bitches and shit, then if they were really a fake little bitch being inserted into your life to wreck it, they deserve more than being fucking stabbed. If the stabbing didn't remove them from the fucking scene, that didn't just like end the problem, right? It didn't even end the problem. Let alone pay back for the problem. It didn't end the fucking problem. But it didn't do anything. You see, it didn't successfully complete any of the objectives. But it's weird how I view this world now. Where society told me how I'm all evil, and then like I start to look at society as like, wait a minute, you guys are cowards, fucking telling other people how evil they are. Well, you're sticking your dick in fucking 3-year-old boys' butts, and you're worried that something evil is going to come out of the shadows and fucking take your head off your shoulders, and then you're never going to get to feel the joy and comfort of a 3-year-old boy's asshole again. And if that's the case, and, you know, let Call of Duty meets fucking Resident Evil begin? Is that the point of the Matrix? I begin to like analyze it like to an extreme extent. And it feels like this world is just a video game. And that means at least one of us are here to play the fucking game and defeat the Koopa Kingdom and shit. And if that's the case, like, did Mario ever be like, oh, it's me, Mario, I'm so sorry, I stepped on the head of the Goomba who was raping the fucking 3-year-old. It's me, Mario. I jump on the fucking flying Koopa. The flying Koopa helped the person raping the 3-year-old. I didn't mean to. I was very, very disappointed. Me, Mario. I gotta go pay repentance for how I act because I stomped on the bullet bill. The bullet bill had a bullet aimed at me, and I decided I'd stomp on it first. And I gotta get Mario and pay repentance. Yeah, I've got to narrow it down, don't I? Like some people probably fucking. You know, the odd thing is I can narrow it down so exactly it makes me think it's all in my head. It's a world I've invented for myself. And I mean, the mask thing though. You can see my videos last year where I posted videos saying everyone should be forced to wear a mask. And now all of a sudden everyone's wearing a mask. Is that just like, you know, paying tribute to me, or are we really fucking doing everything I say in this world? And I don't know, we'll figure this out real soon, right? I'm kind of getting tired of the way shit's going. I guess I'm kind of liking my life. It's pretty awesome, and I guess everyone else in the world right now, like if they had my life, I mean, what is, if everyone disappears into a hard drive and they don't really like be a slave like 8 hours a day, then if those are fake memories, then you're not like, your life isn't worse than mine. Your life fucking is probably free of everything except for pre-programmed programming. Fucking, but you know, the way I see it, I shouldn't be complaining about my life, other than like the nightmare around me and shit, and the deceptions and all that. Like like the normal person doesn't want to get raped, right? Like the normal female, their value is their body, and they don't want to get raped, so it decreases their value and shit, and it makes them feel mentally devalued. And a normal man doesn't, like, his biggest goal is like to not be robbed, although he is being robbed and enslaved. If he can convince you that he's working 8 hours a day and he exists 24 hours a day. But like to me it's just like the nightmare is kinda like weird itself and kinda depreciative. Self-depreciative of such a beautiful mind. But I mean, it's interesting other now, you know, like it's not like at this point I'm like, ooh, you know, life's so hard and all this shit. And if it really would ever go back to that, I'd just go back out to fucking cleaning the street of these fucking parasites manually and shit. So even then, it would be still be awesome because I'd be like the street cleaner and shit, and just doing God's work. Fucking, but I mean, it's clear to some extent everyone else is working with them, right? I mean, how else does all this mass bullshit work? You guys either start fessing up to me that I'm your God and you do everything I say, or you start fessing up to me that they're your God and you do everything they say. And then that makes you my enemy as well, so I don't know what to tell you, dude. It makes you your own enemy. Fucking, and it's interesting how the spells I can cast in this world do have some sort of merit, and choosing to be on bad sides, choosing to be on evil sides, like you've set yourself up for some serious fucking problems because as long as I don't ever talk about the spells fucking I've casted and shit, people don't know it. You can only counter the shit I talk about, right? Like, I notice they've been doing that. They've been baiting me into telling them every little thing I think of. But sometimes when I talk to God, I don't fucking always do it around electronic devices. When I ask God to fucking cleanse fucking certain fucking people acting fucking fucked up, you don't always do that fucking, where other people can see. And, I mean, they even warned me too not to do that. Like, don't do that where other people can fucking see it and shit. And it makes sense, like, because they try to have this karma bullshit, which they're in control of karma, right? Because they've used that to manipulate me enough times to let me know that they're just fucking parasites trying to manipulate the middle core to this world. But I mean, the existence of me wouldn't be allowed, I don't think, unless there was like a higher being than them, because clearly, like, there's only one purpose for me to be here, and that's to fucking examine what's going on and fucking change shit. There's no other purpose. I don't work McDonald's or stock grocery shelves and shit. Fucking, and I don't have much fun either. So the game wasn't to have fucking fun. So it's kind of like playing Mario. Do you have fun as Mario? Like, you do, but does Mario have fun? Does Mario enjoy stopping? So what's going on? You guys know something you're not telling me, right? Does everyone really know less than I do about this world? Like, I find that hard to believe because if people can interject into, if there can be music videos and songs and albums created entirely to speak to me, and time to speak to me at the exact second they're supposed to sometimes. I mean, what's going on in this world? I'm a fucking masterful magician. I can tell you that if I'm creating everything. I listen to fucking like, and other people seem to think so too. But some of the things don't add up properly. And I'm told that's because I'm not fully in control of my powers yet. And that could make sense. I've seen a lot of fucked up shit in this world where it's like my mind is like what's appearing in the world. And that means literally cities have appeared before me that have been in my mind. And supposedly, I mean, I never heard of some of these cities before, but if you look at them, I guess I heard of Redmond before. But if you look at some of these cities, they look like they've been developed for a long time. We never heard of them 3,000 miles away, even though they're super awesome and they're like, you would really want to hear about them. And I understand the point of rich people not wanting to talk about their shit. That way, scumbombs don't come fucking destroy their community. But and especially out here because you got Portland over there, and it's just like 50 miles away, and those people could get lost, come out here and cause some problems. I can make all those freaking arguments. But you know, when I pull up into an area and it looks like everything's just fucking appeared before my eyes, when that shit, it's like, oh, that's some shit in my mind. Like, literally, the name of that building is some shit that's in my mind right now. Like, yeah, there's not too many options. And there's so many limited options. And it doesn't help when I ask for people to fucking help me when you know, some of my main powers have been to twist things in ways no one could ever think of. Like the average person thinks of fire, hey, let someone fire and burn everything over here. I do that, and then I can't quite control it, so I think of other fucking methods and shit. And you know, there's only so many things that go on. I don't even understand the point of talking sometimes because, man, other than the fact that I've seen them get in between me and normal people when I talk to them, like literally, and then they're shutting out all these concerts and bars, which I use to talk to people because they've been from the internet and shit. Fucking, other than that, like, it makes me think that there was, like, really no point to talking to other people because it feels like that they're just, like, small parts of the computer code in the Matrix. And hell, going back to the person who raised me, like, then again, that person felt like a demon fucking who would be working for this enemy side, and their parent looked like these people, so I assume they did. And that person acts like these people, so I assume she's one of them. But I mean, in all reality, like, she does seem clueless, but that could just be because they're good at stopping and not talking, you know, when it's time to shut the fuck up. I don't know. Still trying to figure that part out. But hey, if it's my world and I'm creating it, you guys should really watch out. Watch what the fuck comes after all this mask shit and plague shit. And if it's their world and they're fucking doing this, you guys should really watch out what the fuck comes up. You guys should really, really watch out what the fuck comes after that. See, I don't see if it's my world and I'm creating it. How come I can't, like, get rid of the plague and that stuff so fast? I think it's just a game they play. Sometimes I wonder if it's not a power they have where they control the world, and to much of an extent, they can make things appear and stuff like that. And if that's the case, it's odd. Sometimes I talk about this stuff, and my pain gets worse, or my pain comes as if there's someone who doesn't want me to talk about it, which is odd because there are videos and stuff like that which appear instantly like that when I open my phone, telling me it's time to keep my mouth shut and stuff like that. It's a very interesting world. It's like the Matrix, but different. Like, is the magic in the Matrix all just fucking technology? Or, I mean, what else would it be, right? You play a video game all the time. You have the power to cast fire spells and stuff and lightning spells, but it's all technology. It's a video game. It's not. That, right? How come when I look at the sun there, that the cloud and the sun will form shapes and speak to me about what I'm talking about? How does that? Who's doing that one? Is that me? Who knows? They're trying to tell me that some people have different powers, and only one person gets to control the sun. So they're trying to, like, assume it's me, but you know, how are they telling me all this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like, I get to control the sun, but they get to control everything to tell me, to insert propaganda in my life to tell me I'm the one controlling the sun, right? And that's odd because I asked the sun who's controlling stuff, and the sun showed me a six-sided star. Six-pointed star, you know, a Star of David, supposedly Star of David. That's been rewritten, hasn't it? The Bible and where the Star of David come from has been rewritten, right? And how does this stuff all get rewritten? How does that work?